you're feeling. Happy Monday or Sunday evening, depending on where you are in the world. I just want to check that you can hear me a-okay, so give me a thumbs up before we dive in. Okay, so lunar eclipse and full moon. Whew, it's been pretty big times, hasn't it? Okay, how are we going to do this? There we go. Hi, welcome. So excited to talk to you. After a very, very dense week, yes, I'm here. I'm back because it has been hella shadow over here. Who else resonates? Thank you, gorgeous. That's beautiful. So, what we're here to do today is the weekly oracle guidance that happens on Magical Mondays here in Australia for me at the moment. And I'll be using the Starseed Oracle deck by Danielle Noel and Rebecca Campbell. It's my ride or die. And my only ask for you right now is that you quit with the thoughts that have you time traveling to your to-do list or to what happened yesterday or to what you're in. And with a deep breath, just harness all of those fragments of you that are in other places, other times, and bring them here. We're all coming in from different time zones, different parts of the world, different states of being. And I just want to gather and collect that energy so that we can open up to a really crystal clear and potent message. I can feel a few of you now, so just continue to bring all of your body and being here. Maybe have a little shake through the body. Clear some space to receive. So, my question to you, dear ones, is what is it that you're doing here, looking for today? If you were to ask a fortune teller or the part of you that knows anything, what is it that you most want to know right now? What question is most hot on your heart? And just bring that to the forefront of your mind's screen. Perhaps you might even like to close down your eyes if you're a more visual person. And ask this question, this inquiry, this thing you might be feeling unclear or confused about to reveal itself on the screen of your mind, as if you're at the movies, and written in a really big, large font on the screen is the very question you want the answer to today. And let that question be as simple as it wants to be. This is the way of the feminine. She is complex, but really simple in nature. So bring that question to the forefront of your mind. Write it nice and big in a beautiful font on the screen of your mind's eye. And I want you to direct all of your energy into the deck in my hands, no matter where you are. Intention is multidimensional. It goes beyond time and space. So travel your intention, your inquiry, your curiosity, the thing you need clarity on right here. And as I open to receive those inquiries or intentions, all you need to do is focus on breathing space into your body. That's it. What if it were that simple? To receive everything you need or that you've been trying so hard to get? What if it were as simple as to opening up right now to receive it? So let's tune in, shall we? I would love to know from everybody how they're feeling right now. Give me a string of emojis as what's current and present in your experience. And then let's see if we can transform that to be a higher expression. Whatever that looks like. Maybe you're already doing fucking amazing and that's epic. You want to take it up another notch. Or maybe you've been wading through the depths of the shadow and your emojis might look a little different. And just by acknowledging where we're at gives us the power to liberate any of that energy that's blocking our fulfillment, our joy, our prosperity. Yeah, so rather than just skipping over it, let's really see and feel and become aware of where we're at. Here we go. Oh, this is interesting. And through that acknowledgement, we can then move into a higher space or, experience a different state of being, one that feels lighter and more juicy and yummy to your being. Beautiful. Yeah, if I had to communicate in emojis, I would be like the dunno emoji, like what? And like the tornado. Beautiful, thank you. So a card that we've just received, very strongly like magnetized to the palm of my hand, is one that you're already familiar with because it came up, I think only two weeks ago, which is the Great Severing. The Great Severing. Now our subheadings to this card is Mars energy, anger, conflict, and softening to love. So just for a moment, take in the image. I'm a little bit shaky because I'm fasting. And without thinking too much about those words or what emotions or stories it triggers in you, just have a look at the image and let it take you where it wants to take you. So at first, what does this bring up in you? What does the Great Severing mean for you? Now, if you've already watched and tuned in to the last time I pulled this card, this is really about severing ties to what is no longer serving, which it's full moon, so of course that's come up today. But also the anger and conflict aspect is interesting. So just pay attention and notice if your inquiry or your intention today of what you ask the deck has something to do with this very thing, with anger or with conflict. I know in a few of my friend circles and even in myself, there has been a lot of like really dense emotion present itself over the last week. And this is, I believe, a global thing because we're receiving so much new higher frequencies of light that it kind of shocks us into like, what the fuck is going on, and annihilates anything that is not love. So if you're feeling really present to anger, irritation, frustration, if there's conflict between you and yourself or you and your family members, your friends, a lot of friction, what needs to be severed? Sometimes it actually is a relationship, but often it's more so how we relate to the relationship. Yes, time to release the shore of doubt and dive into the oceanic realms of the unknown. Love that. Yes. So what does this image bring up for you immediately? And if we can get really fucking honest about how we are playing into these stories that we are now being initiated and asked into severing from, what is the fear there? How are they serving us? Why are we keeping them alive? Because oftentimes we think of all the ways that they keep us stuck and we resent them. We're like, oh, I want to sever from this thing that makes me angry, or this conflict from this person. It's their fault, or it's this thing that happened. But I want to give you a shift of perception right now to ask you, how have these things been serving you and keeping you safe? So for me, my question that I asked the deck today was, how can I feel more connected? And when I receive this card of the Great Severing, I think about all of the ways that me isolating myself, retreating into myself, and keeping people away has served me rather than how it's hindered me from connecting. So it's just this slight shift in perception that allows us to take back our fucking power and quit with the blame, quit with the shame, lighten up the load, and get honest about why we've been keeping these stories playing anyway. What's the key that keeps them? So for me, I can sever from feeling disconnected, right? And be like, oh, well, it's just because I'm alone and there's no one here and I've got to do all these things. These are the actions to create more connection. That's coming from mind. That's coming from ego. That's trying to fix the problem from the same mindset that created the problem, which is discontent or disconnection. What I'm asking you to do is shift the lens of perception to ask the question, how are these stories supporting me? And only from then can we sever from them, like for reals, you know? If we don't know why, sometimes we don't need to know why, but this is just a helpful shift because oftentimes we find ourselves repeating the same fucking cycle and the pattern and getting back to the same place. Does anyone resonate with that? And for me, it's not until I'm realizing that this loneliness, or what I have changed to holy aloneness, is self-created because I need a lot of time and space to integrate. I need a lot of alone time and solitude, and that actually feels really good. And so in turn, how that manifests is that there's not a group of people around me always ready and willing to connect. And that's okay. And once I have this understanding, I'm like, it's actually really served and supported me. Instead of being something that I blame and shame and judge and put all this like negative momentum behind, right? Is it everyone with me? Yeah, cool. So with this mindset shift, I can then make a new choice from a place of empowerment rather than from anger and internal conflict. I can soften back into the love of, all I'm ever doing is trying my best. All I'm ever doing is working with what I know. Self-help is the best the best version of self-help is self-compassion. That's one of my favorite lines from Danielle Laporte. And so when I soften into this space, I can access compassion for myself. And then change happens from a place of being pulled rather from a place of being pushed. Do you feel that shift, right? If you're being pulled toward a transformation or toward a new narrative, then it's coming from a place that wants it to be true, that will support you in showing up consistently, committed to the new story. But if we're pushing from mind and we're like, well, you're alone and that's a shitty story, you should go get connected. What things should we do? It's coming from this push energy. It's trying to control the outcome rather than actually softening back into that love. So what are you severing from now that you understand how it has served you? With that quick little reframe of whatever you inquired about today, what are you severing from now that you know how it has supported you? Tell me in the comments below. And with this declaration, it's not forceful. It's not like there. It's not just dumping it out, which sometimes can be a really cathartic process. But this card today is really coming with the energy of emphasizing softening into love. And it's necessary to move through the anger and the conflict and the friction and the contrast and the totally. But when we understand and we ask ourselves, how is this serving me actually? How can I get really real about why I'm keeping this alive? What is it granting me? What is it giving me? Space, solitude, freedom, or the concept of freedom. to my old self. Beautiful. Let's soften into that. Let's offer compassion and grace to the process. And then lovingly let it go to welcome in a new narrative. So some of the things that you guys are severing from are expectation, pressure, resisting what is. Oof, that's so beautiful. Control. Yeah, make that declaration. If you're on this live right now, use this space. Harness the energy of this bubble and just make that declaration. And if you already have, I want you to breathe in and just let that go now. And let it be that simple. Because your body wants you to release it. Your soul wants to let it go. If it's coming up for you, you are ready to release it. You are ready to alchemize it. Severing from thinking I'm incapable of bringing my goal to fruition. Severing from micromanaging life. Yes. Deep breath out upon your declaration. And so it is. Thank you so much for tuning into this message. The replay will be up on YouTube if you want to revisit this and really ask more deeply. But also trust that whatever's kind of simmering under the surface and being purged out is happening. Your subconscious is always working for you. So give it clear instruction through your intention, through your declaration, for it to work for you in the background of while you still hang out and do life. You know, you don't have to just sit around in ceremony all day long. Thank you so much, Claire. I can't wait to tune in with you next week and see what this great severing has opened space up for us to receive. I can sense that there is light on its way, but for now, soften back into love as much as you can. Perhaps it might just be resting your hand on your heart as often as you can throughout the day. I like to tap on my sternum too. Also, perhaps even trying a breast massage if you have breasts. That's a really beautiful way to open the energy center of the heart and soften back into love. Maybe just making contact with this area of the body. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much.